My dad tells me he has cancer, and that it's not looking good. So I come home and we go inside and my mom makes dinner. We eat, quietly. Eventually we go to sleep, and then I wake up sometime in the middle of the night because I smell something. Not smoke, not fire. I smell hot butter frying in a pan. And the smell pulls me out of my bed, out of my room, down the stairs and into the kitchen, where I find my father cooking. He's taking a small loaf of Italian bread that he sliced in half and laying it down on the brown butter. So the bread is now half toasting, half frying. And in another pan, he's got slices of pastrami. Not cooking, but just browning till they are nice and hot. When the bread is done, he puts it on a plate and layers on hips of pastrami. He makes a sandwich and sets it before me, like a contract, like a letter, addressed only to me. And I eat it.
In the camps, there was so little food. We would get a small ton of rice and what they called vegetable soup, but it was nothing but dirty water with maybe a potato floating on it. That was dinner, lunch, and breakfast. In the camps, we ate elaborate meals in our minds, dreaming of the dishes that our relatives, often almost all dead, once made. This long, unbroken chain of food, ending in a tent city, in a nowhere place in a country that does not want us. The best thing I ever ate was the last thing I ever planted. It was a pot of gumbo, okra, growing here to sell. A harvest, it turned out, no one wanted to buy. And when I ate it, I tasted something that almost reminded me of home.
The best meal I've ever had was the one we had the night before my mother left. It was fried chicken because she didn't want to cook. It was greasy and cold and we washed it down with Coke. My father made a joke about something that happened at work and we laughed. And my mother made me eat more chicken because she said I was sick and need to keep up my energy. Chicken for the chicken pox, she said. This was the circle and it was whole.
I hope you liked the narration of excerpts from Julia Cho's Aubergine. For those of you who do not know who Julia Cho is, she is a Korean-American playwright whose works have become recently popular and well recognized in the US. Her debut plays, or the three earlier plays, BFE, Architecture of Loss, and Durango, are based on her life as the only Asian American in a small town in Arizona. These works explore the loneliness, memory, trauma, and identity crisis that the main characters live through. And since it fits perfectly with the dry, barren setting of Arizona, her three early works are called as desert trilogies. Aubergine is a more recent work of Cho's, and the story centers around a young Korean-American man named Ray, who stays with his father whilst he's in hospice. A French-trained chef, Ray has lots of painful memories with his stoic father who never approved of his cooking. The story is about a reconciliation between a father and a son, but it is also about reconciliation of immigrant generations of the two clashing cultures, and most importantly, of the overcoming of painful memories and traumas of the past. It is a beautifully written play that will most certainly make you cry, so I highly suggest reading this or watching the show with a box of tissues beside you. I chose to narrate this with a quote from Michel de Certeau's book, A Practice of Everyday Life, as this French philosopher gives both personal and theoretical perspectives on the act of cooking and eating. Her quote that every elementary practices illustrate and takes part in the crossroads of history properly reflects the motif of food in display. All these dishes and ingredients, while different, constitute the lives of various individuals from diverse backgrounds. For example, first and second generation of Korean American, just Korean, and even African American immigrants. However small these experiences of food they share, they all make up and entail the experience of diaspora within American society. The mix and interaction of diverse cultural backgrounds and the collective and relatable experiences are at the core of Julia Cho's literary works, which makes her works not only Asian American literature, but a transnational diasporic literature. If you're interested in Asian American literature or diasporic literature, I highly suggest that you read Julia Cho's other works as well. Anyways, I had a lot of fun recording and filming this, and I also wish you had the same watching this video. So, if time allows, I would like to do more narrations for my favorite plays and monologues, so please wait for future excerpt narration videos. Thanks!